Coming at you live from all over Ohio. A Cleveland Browns podcast full of laughs, rants, fun, and stats. A place where all Browns fans' voices are welcome and heard. A show that aims to inform and entertain you. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Barking Browns Show.
Welcome in, everybody. Happy Tuesday evening to you. Welcome to episode 119.
119
of the Barking Brown Show. I'm Jacob. That's Nick. We're brought to you as always by our friends at Homage Apparel. You got one version of Brownie the Elf, and you got the other version of
Bang Bang.
And if you go in the link in the description down below, it'll take you to their really badass Victory Monday shirts.
Oh,
and
yeah.
well, we know you're gonna need to wear those a few times. So how about you go get yourself hooked up with a couple of those, hook up your homies with a couple of those, and let's ride.
I was walking around a local grocery store yesterday, and there was a fellow Browns fan wearing a Victory Monday shirt. And I said, "Hey, man, I like your shirt." He's like, "Hey, thanks. You know, people really appreciate when you compliment their Victory Monday shirts. And you could be getting your Victory Monday shirt compliments with your shirt." So,
hey, here's something we got to talk about before we move on.
Okay.
We are eight subscribers away from the 2,000 subs category. So to go tell your friends to come over here and sub it. They don't even need to watch us. Just sub to the channel, maybe throw up a thumbs up, watch a 10-second ad, and put some money in our pocket.
They're like, "What? The Browns won week 1? Okay, I'll tune into some Browns content." Tell them. We've been here. We're ready for you.
We got bills to pay, guys.
And for all you guys that have continued to join us. And so actually, I did not realize we were live at the time. But Jacob, went live from the Muni lot, and apparently there were over 300 of you live with us at one point. That's crazy. I don't know. Thank you. You're amazing. The Browns are going to keep winning, and we are just going to keep creating. And so and I just want to say this as we get into this, because Jacob and I were at the game last time, we didn't get to do the pregame show, postgame show, that kind of thing. We're going to be there for pregame Browns Monday night, postgame Browns. We're doing the whole thing, the gamut. It's going to be great. Be there with us. We love you. And it's victory. Well, it's victory
Tuesday,
Jacob.
Who gives a crap what day it is? It's a victory.
I'm celebrating.
That's the whole week. We're taking the whole week because we don't play until Monday night.
Can I just say, we were there with our good friend Andy Manchin, great guy. And Jacob was confident. Andy was confident. I was nervous. I admitted I was nervous. I think we talked about it this last week. I was nervous. The Browns needed to do something to get a little bit of faith. And I'm always going to believe. I'm always going to sip the Kool-Aid. But I just needed a little reminder that, like, all this talent we've been talking about for so long was actually there. And boy, do they come through. I'll tell you that the greatest thing that happened to me was as we were walking away from the stadium, and I was singing. I honestly, Jacob will tell you, I was singing about not having a walk of shame.
He was.
I was.
Very, very obnoxiously.
I was. And I've dubbed that walk, pretty new to me, the winner's walk.
Yeah.
I want to do a lot more winner's walks this year.
There were some people that really got into your song, just so to clear. Like, really into it, and it was a little bit weird. I was like, what are we even doing here?
I'm pretty excitable. What can I say?
Yeah, what happened to your one chick challenge?
Oh, no. Oh, Drew. Okay. All right. Well, you're right. I owe the one chip challenge. I promise you.
Next week.
Yes, next week. It's going to have to be next week.
Nick will do the one chip challenge.
That is my promise to you. Thank you for holding me accountable, Drew.
The back end of tonight. So, I'm sorry, next week. The back end of next week's show will be Nick doing the one chip challenge. So, if his better half is listening, make him order that chip, because I know you're smarter than he is.
She is, and she is listening. So
that's fine.
Don't worry.
Let's do it. Hey, listen, Evan's a new member. Subscribe, just joined the channel. Help us out monetarily. Thank you very much, my friend. I'm very excited to have you. Drew throwing a little bit of chatter our way. We appreciate the hell out of every single one of you guys that are here checking it out. So now I will get the first F word out of the way, as Connie has pointed out, and say fuck the Steelers. There you go.
There it is.
Hey, do you know what I learned about saying F words on YouTube?
What's that?
Don't do it in the first 7 seconds, and you're pretty good.
Okay.
That's what I found out. And don't put it in the titles. So, all right. Did I share my DTR meme with Nick? I have not, but I will, Drew. I will share that with him after this. So, guys, we're going to get into it. We did do our winners and losers pod yesterday. Dropped at 8:30 here on the channel. If you want to get that out, if you haven't already. No, the biggest, YouTube said it themselves, Josh, that if it's not in the first 7 seconds or in the title and it's not excessive, then you're pretty good. But he says he knows this from experience. Well, I'm trying really hard to not say it until I didn't make it 10 minutes. So let's hope Josh is
because who needs F words when you're winners? You want to start with the defense, Jacob?
Well, that's what we're talking about tonight. We'll dive into everything here tonight, but Jim Schwartz was brilliant, man. That's what I titled this episode, and I wanted to go a little bit more into it than what we did yesterday, because a lot of what we did yesterday on the channel was talk about individual players and things of that nature, and be like, Grant Delpit, this guy, that guy, we went through those things. I wanted to talk, and I talked about Jim Schwartz a little bit, but I wanted to go more into it, looking back on this game, because it was just all right. I will, Drew. Drew just donated $4.99 to the channel.
Drew,
so I would
thank you,
share the meme live. You have spoken, my friend. If you guys donate money because you want us to say something or view something, as long as it's not illegal, we'll do it. We are whores for attention, and we are whores for dollar bills. So you throw them out there and you shall receive. Drew, I will get that done in a little bit. I want to do a little bit of football. We'll get to that DTR. We'll get to the DTR meme. I think it's great. But you know how there's been a large contingency of Browns fans this offseason that were like, no matter what, they were just going to say the phrase, I need to see it on the field. Yep. And while I found it a little annoying, the amount of times people would say that, they'd say like twice a day, I don't care. I don't, whatever. And I'm like, shut up. Like, okay. It really annoyed me from that standpoint, but the sentiment I understood from the beginning. I understood the sentiment, because it's like, how many times have we been here? You're right. I don't think we've ever had a roster quite like this, but I digress. You're right. So my point is, I look at this and I say, this was the time that the stuff we talked about off season started to show up. Mm-hmm. You started to see a very creative defensive coordinator, a defensive coordinator that helps to, did I just put two ers on the end of, did I say defensive coordinator? I don't know what's going on with my speech tonight a little bit. I have not hit the sauce, I promise. But anyway, this was finally the opportunity. We talked about a defensive coordinator that could come in and tailor, like, not just give, what's the word? Be given talent and make that fit into his system, but also to adjust his system to the talent. Mm-hmm. And truly, where I think it was the other way around with Joe Woods, it was trying to make the talent adjust to that. Now, granted, Joe Schwartz has been given more than Joe Woods was. Let's make that clear. Let's not point that out. But there was a stat you talked about, and I put in my one of my articles about how the defensive line had dominated, and that was they played Myles Garrett 4 snaps at inside linebacker. Let me say that again. They played him at 4 snaps at inside linebacker, and on the 6th snap of the game, he was doing an Allen Iverson, Kyrie Irving impersonation. Not in the 4th quarter. The 6th snap of the game. and that was lined up as a middle linebacker. He had played only 21 or 27 snaps as an inside linebacker in his entire career. He played 4 on Sunday. Those 4 plays, 3 incompletions and a sack on those 4 plays. It's just about, you could get about as good as it gets in a 4-play sequence. Obviously you would want 4 sacks, but as good as it gets. And it was like that right there. And we're going to dive more into it, but that right there was the first nugget that, he is creative and understands how to create mismatches and moves people around. There's more nuggets coming, but that was the first one.
Yeah, let me just talk a little bit of surface level too. And that linebacker stat is probably one of my favorites because I think everyone talks all about how, TJ Watt plays some linebacker and does these different things. And it's like
coverages and things.
And I always wondered, like, why, like Myles Garrett's a freak athletically. We see it all the time. Like, why is he not used in a multitude of ways? And I think the instant impression that I got is just the taste that was left in our mouth from last year is that even in the final week of the season, the defense was still having communication issues. And I just think when you look at body language, and I understand there's no concrete way to evaluate
interpreting to actually like hammer down what but I know
get that. But like if you watch those clips of like John Johnson and the guys like throwing their hands up with towards one another and just not understanding where they're supposed to be, and then you look at just week 1, right, Myles Garrett's dribbling the basketball as he's winding up. I've never seen anything like that in the NFL, anything of any kind. I just want to say, just a really quick side note, the last time Jacob, Andy, and I attended a Browns football game together was the Bears game in which Justin Fields had 1 net passing yard. So then we come back for the Bengals game and the defense completely dominates again. And we were sitting next to people and they're like, you got to come again.
They were like, you guys are going to be here next time, right? Like you guys will be back in a couple of weeks. We're like, no.
I wish, but so my point is surface level. You see far better body language. And if you have not checked out Jake Burns yet, you definitely should, because he's been posting clips all day. And there is a very direct piece of evidence of that where you can see the defense is communicating with one another and that they're adapting to what the Bengals are doing. And I just think so from a very base surface level, the body language is far improved. It matches with what the players have been saying all offseason. Players' comments do matter. And I think that's why we talk about them so much. And on top of that, then you see direct evidence that all the narrative about simplifying the defense, making it so that guys can be where they need to be and they know where they need to be. There's no confusion. See immediate evidence that has been fixed. Love it. Love.
You're seeing those things that we talked about and what we were told.
Simple things
translate. Yeah, I wanted to talk about that snap. It was like, this is where Jim Schwartz, just everything about that defense really just felt like Jim Schwartz was delivering on what he said he was going to give. Like, hey, this is what our defense is going to be. No, we're going to be fast. We're going to be aggressive. We're going to be smart, and we're going to be simple. We're going to, all of this stuff. And that's what they were. And it was like, he went out there and he got these guys to buy in.
Yep.
That I ultimately think that everything we have seen is people buying into whatever it is Jim Schwartz is preaching. Because for the first week, I said this in the preseason, they embodied their coach.
Yep.
There was a quote today, and I wish I could remember what the word was. I just saw this like an hour or two ago, where basically Jim Schwartz gets mad if his defense doesn't celebrate with their teammates after big plays.
I love
like
that.
He calls them a loaf or something like that. Like if like there's an incompletion, you don't go dap up your dude, he's going to call you a loaf. He's going to call you like a loser. He's going to be like, what is that? And it's like, you said it, man, body language, it's there. Jake Burns pointed out, I was going to bring that up. You can see him pointing and communicating and, and they were rotating in Anthony Walker and Taki at Mike, and Corey Kennan was like, I was talking to him earlier. He's like, inject that into my veins, and I'm like, yeah, I know. I love it. And they're rotating guys around. And I think it all comes back to at least for 1 week, it's still a very, very long season.
Sure.
But for 1 week, everybody bought into what Jim Schwartz, his plan, his vision. They all bought into it, and they went out there and they performed at just a really incredible level.
One last final note about this, because I don't know the exact number, but Greg Newsome played a ton inside on Sunday, and you saw him be thrilled with his play and what he was doing and make plays throughout the day. Didn't seem like a guy who was too upset to be playing on the inside. That's full buy. If you get Greg Newsome to go from what he was saying in the offseason to where he's at now, to looking excited, fired up, happy to be out there, happy to be
playing really well.
Oh my God, because that'll get you paid. That type of defense, that type of play, that's going to get you paid, and I think they all know that.
Nickel corners are. You remember how like right tackles were like severely underpaid compared to left, and then everybody was like, the blind side doesn't actually really matter. Both sides matter. Like you need a left tackle and a right tackle. And then right tackles contracts started to go up because it was like, hey, they are as important. I think that's going to happen with inside corners because now you have slot receivers getting paid a ton of money and you have to compensate. That means you have to have 3 good corners if you're going to compete in the AFC. You have to, including in the slot, especially when you go against a team like Cincinnati, who has one of the better slot receivers in the game, and Tyler Boyd, who got shut down. Not as bad as T. Higgins got shut down. Damn. But, that it is what it is, that's where I was going. The beards are coming. I just trimmed it up today because it looked like crap. The defense just looked like they were having a blast. Yes, that was another thing. It's not just that like they're comfortable, they're having fun, and they're having fun together, man. Yep. Like, and Connie said that she thought a loaf was a turd. That actually makes sense because it's like pinch a loaf. Yeah. I'm with you. I'm tracking, Connie. I'm with you on that one. It was just, we keep telling they're having fun together. We keep hearing that in the off season. And for the first time on Sunday, it looked like it.
Like, I just think so. When we were at this, I think we could reasonably agree that this was the most dominant Browns defensive performance since they held Justin Fields to 1 net passing yard. But when it happened against the Bears,
I think they were even better. I think they were even better than that game.
And that's where I'm going, because when it happened against the Bears, people were like, well, yeah, but it's the Bears, because Justin Fields wasn't like electric Justin Fields yet at the time.
He was a rookie.
But yeah, and so now this happens. This is the Cincinnati Bengals. This is the team that's won the division the last 2 years, that has been to the Super Bowl, that has been to the AFC Championship game, that has been as high flying of an offense. I mean, Joe Burrow is like the most popular guy aside from Patrick Mahomes in the NFL right now. I think that's pretty fair to say. Who doesn't like Joe Burrow? Everybody likes that guy. I can't hate him, right? And it's like you made him that. There is no better example that he throws a screen pass to Joe Mixon and literally hand pushes it because he has been under pressure. They rattled him, Jacob. They made one of the best passers in the game rattled, and it was obvious. And if you could do that to him, you can do it to anybody.
Well, they pressured him on 17 of his 33 dropbacks, and I would argue that it was more if he hadn't thrown the ball in 3 steps. Like he was throwing it really quickly. Casey says the standard is set. Yep. Hate the injuries, but let's beat them. Yins are crazy. Oh yeah, okay, all right.
Yeah, all right. Absolutely, we're gonna get there too.
But Beaker really needs. He played like his family still has money. He needs a new contract.
Hey, what's that doing?
Burrow has odds on favor to win the MVP going into the season. Hey, Burrow's really, really good. Like that's the point. Like nobody's here to knock Joe Burrow because like that's quite opposite what we're doing. I don't think he was ready for that game. Physically, I don't think it looked bad, and they didn't help him. Like they didn't help him at all.
No.
Like they didn't change the offense. Zach Taylor made 0 adjustments. Him and Brian Callahan. I looked at Nick in late in the game when they were still running the shotgun on like their own 5-yard line and trying to gun run when they were risking safeties. And I was like, what are they doing?
Yeah.
Like I get they're a gun team. Yeah. And that's what you should be. But like you were losing yards with plays like that when you didn't have yards to lose. And I'm like, what are we doing? And I was like, I have no idea what they're doing. They're a lot better than that. They're still going to push for the division, like
I expect them to bounce back.
Yeah. And Crystal says, and she admits that the Bengals need to get it together. Yeah. I mean, they're, like I said, still a really, really good, really good team. We're at 1,999 subs right
there it
now,
is. Almost there.
Hit us to 2,000, and we are going to be giving away a really cool Browns jersey. And also, you can donate money in the chat on this video if you want me to do stupid stuff. I don't really know. I just keep saying
that. We're still working on the paintball gun.
Yeah, I know. I got to get there.
We owe the viewers a lot. Between you and I, we owe the viewers a lot. But I just want to say, I thought that the biggest piece of the defense.
Oh, now, sorry, Crystal. Crystal is on their mom's account. They're actually a boy.
Well, thank you for being here.
I apologize.
There's so much about the defense that was incredible, but to me, my favorite thing by far is just the combination of defensive ends. You saw Zadarius Smith bat that ball from Joe Burrow on the first play of the game. You saw Myles Garrett get pressure and Obo Okoronkwo pay him off for creating that opportunity and get the sack. You just saw guys get in the face and be able to pressure, and not just Myles Garrett, because Myles Garrett just had one sack. I mean, obviously it was the biggest play of the game, but it was a team effort to pressure Joe Burrow. It wasn't just Myles. Myles did have a good day, right? But Zadarius Smith had a good day. Obo Okoronkwo had a good day. Your defensive tackles had a good day. You made Joe Burrow's life hell, and there are very few teams in the NFL who successfully do that, and it's even crazier that the Browns have consistently done it. And now you have such an improved defensive line.
Yeah, I'm really good. Oh, that's right. Mitch does have a paintball gun. That's right. Yeah.
There you go.
I forgot about that. So video coming soon of me getting shot with 6 paintballs. Maybe it'll play next week.
We're just up in the ante here, Casey.
Hey man, if somebody wants to donate a bunch of money to charity or something, like I've been tased before. It's not a big deal.
Okay.
Been tased multiple times. What? All right. So I got to pay the piper. Here is Drew's meme.
Oh boy. Okay, here we go. Wow.
It's so funny because it's just Manny's face.
I love Manny. I love him.
Dude, that man never misses. Did you see his video from last week? I listen, our show's going off the rails tonight. I don't know if we can I don't know if the audio that he has is okay. I'll turn the audio off. Yeah, because it'll demonetize us.
Yes, they will.
It did that did you hear about them doing that to the last a couple of Faithful Dogs podcasts ago?
I did hear that.
I can't
tough world out here.
It's hard to figure out where it is there. Well, that's the picture. You know
what? While you look though, I just want to say too that from the clips that have been posted, and I did rewatch the game today, it's just like the linebackers. JOK is flying around and he doesn't even get the tackle on a couple of these plays, and he's celebrating like he just the guys all celebrating one another. I don't think there's ever been more clear evidence. Now I understand this is just 1 week, but I don't think there's ever been more clear evidence of how much of a difference a culture maker makes. Where it's like Jim Schwartz, obviously. Joe Woods. Joe Woods. If this keeps up, that is a rough endorsement, sir. All right,
Manny. Manny's gonna show us what it's about.
And it's so much more dramatic with the music, but like I said, for YouTube purposes, because Manny's cooking it up. Yeah, even from seeing it, it's just.
Oh,
he's got all the names like Zim and Bangalore. It's so nice that the Browns gave us this joy, man.
Oh my God.
And Jacob, we could talk about the defense, but I know you have a lot to say about the secondary, Grant Delpit, the corners. Give us a little secondary talk, Jacob.
He trusts his defensive backs on Sunday. He didn't have, and this thing that I talked about yesterday that's just so crazy is like he didn't have his best free safety, his best coverage free safety.
Yeah.
You know, he gave like 10 snaps to Ronnie Hickman to kind of run in that role, and Rodney McLeod, and they put Grant Delpit back there and they moved them all the way around. And it's funny because I just have wanted for so long to let these corners cook.
Yeah.
And he's finally like, you know what? We're going to let them cook. We're going to go out there and trust my corners. They played a lot of man coverage. Mm-hmm. They still played cover 3 and cover 6, cover 2. They played all that stuff they've traditionally done. And actually, there was more cover 3 with a single high safety ran than in his Philadelphia days, which, as he was pointing out, Corey Kinnan was pointing out that like that was one of his fatal flaws, was not being able to do quite as much cover 3 single high and that sort of stuff when he was in Philadelphia, and kind of why he walked away, or not walked away, but got fired and let go. And then he ran a bunch of it because it was what was working. Mm-hmm. And he had no problem. He's talked so much. And I don't know how I'm trying to phrase this. Oh, he had talked so much about using 5 guys for pressure, using down linemen and going through there and bringing a 5th player. He trusts them so much that with that great wide receiver group, he wasn't worried if he was sending 6 or if it was 7 or 6 defensive backs. He trusted them. They went to work. Greg Newsome was great. Martin Emerson was awesome.
Yep.
No catches for T. Higgins, primarily covered by Martin Emerson. Yep. Something that I wasn't even sure he could do, because I thought T. Higgins was a much better athlete than him. And although Emerson has better size and physicality than Higgins, and he goes out there and just does the work. Yeah. Martin Emerson, Greg Newsome, Denzel Ward was out there shutting down Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase had 39 freaking yards. These corners went out there. And guess what? Grant Delpit was playing nickel corner. He was playing in the slot. And Grant Delpit was the best. You know what? Grant Delpit was the best player on the football field Sunday.
Which is
over
crazy.
The entire field in my mind. God. And if you everybody's been saying it, but I'll say it again. You get that Grant Delpit this year.
Yep.
He's rangy, he's physical, he can rush the passer, he was tackling well, and it was just like,
I love over the course of time how more and more of these Andrew Berry draft picks are starting to become some of your key contributors. Like, people tried to slander Greg Newsome, saying he wasn't a good corner because he doesn't have an interception yet, and I just like that is not the sole measure of how good a cornerback is. Like, Greg Newsome played his ass off yesterday. There were so many, and I got to give the Browns defense as a whole credit. There were so many 3rd and shorts that the old Browns defense gives up. This defense stopped them short so many. Like the difference between the Browns playing dominant defense and the Bengals drives being continued were inches in a lot of scenarios. There's 3rd and 1s, 3rd and 2, 3rd and short, whatever. And the Browns just they so surely tackled this time. I don't remember another time that I've said to myself like that was one of the best tackling efforts I've ever seen across the board from everybody.
Yeah. And that was dude, I think that was the difference. Like, honest to God, think that was the difference, because how many times did they have them? And they stopped them on 3rd and short.
They stopped them on 4th down. I was like, because we've seen it. And
physicality, open field tackling, smart, aggressive. Oh,
and you know what? God. One final note about the defense, because somebody brought this up to me today on Twitter, and I thought it was a a tremendous point. The previous Browns home opener, Jacob and I also attended, but we weren't with Andy. Then that's our fault. So you can blame us if you want. The previous Browns home opener, we saw the defense and special teams completely blow a lead that they had built and a game that they literally snatched defeat from the jaws of victory. And in this case, we saw the defense legitimately shut the door on any rally attempt that the Bengals had. That is night and day between two home openers in just 1 year. The difference between these two, I still hardly believe that it happened. Oh, did we hit it?
200, 2,000, subs. What's up? Burn.
Well, hello. We are giving away a Browns jersey.
We will give away a Browns jersey. Watch out for a small video on this channel to tell you how. So thank you all. We really, really appreciate you. We love you. I'm having a party tonight. So anyway, Grand Delpit. I want to talk more about Grand Delpit. You think I was gonna let us change the subject?
No, please.
Not more love to Grant Delpit. He literally made an impact on all three facets: pass rushing, coverage, run defense. He was physical, he was athletic, he was rangy, he was smart. He was a freaking leader, dude. Like, he went out there and played all out. Yeah, man. It's Connie talks about the communication. Yeah, seriously, it's like they continue to do everything that last year's team didn't do. Isn't that funny when you think about it? It's like they just did everything that last year's defense didn't do. They're like, yeah, we're gonna take care of this. It's gonna be great.
Right. It's the difference.
That play where Martin Emerson intercepts it out of bounds. He ran the route for him. And that was T. Higgins, man. It wasn't some scrub. There wasn't a bunch of injuries. It was just like, I don't know, man. Like, everybody had their best game at the same time. And if that defense is like that, the Browns defense could be top 3. I mean, it's got the talent. I mean, there's a long, long way to go. Mm-hmm. They were helped by some of the weather, and they caught Joe Burrow at a really good time. All of that.
I would say,
but my God, that was just dominant, man, on every aspect.
So there were 3 really dominant defensive performances of week 1. Cowboys over the Giants, the 49ers over the Steelers, and the Browns over the Bengals. I would say that the Browns had the most impressive stop of an opponent of the 3. Like, I don't think that the Giants or the Steelers have anywhere near the offense that the Bengals do. And so I'm not saying that doesn't guarantee them anything. But if you can shut down the Bengals, I think this is a great way to sum it up. If you can shut down the Bengals offense, you can shut down any offense in the NFL.
Okay. How about this? Let's talk. Oh, that's a good point. He said, what about the Packers and the Bears over the Bears? That was a pretty surprising one too. Yeah, that was. And I know that the Bears are much worse than, they were a bad team last year, obviously, because of the pick they had. But yeah, I did not see them. Getting beaten by the Packers, sure, not smashed.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Justin Fields was must-see TV last year, and they completely shut him down.
Just nothing.
That's true. That's a good point.
It was a very good game. That was a very good game. So we do have to give them the props. But I want to tell you one more stat, and then I think we're actually going to start talking about Pittsburgh.
What about the offense?
Do we have a lot to say about that? I guess we can. I'll let you say your piece. Okay. So this stat is great when I tell you what the stat is. And then I'm going to ask you what the answer is. The Cincinnati Bengals offense had the worst pass block win rate in week 1.
Okay.
The second worst team was the Patriots, who had a 5% more success rate.
Okay.
30%.
Oh.
So what I'm telling you is more than the Browns had 2.5 more successful plays rushing the passer than the Bengals did stopping it. Well, that means 70% of the time the Browns were winning the pass rush against the protections. 70%.
More than 2 out of every 3 downs.
Yeah. And what does that lead to? Huge third downs that you can't convert. Dude, I'm just telling you, like, I'm just giddy at this point because, like, I thought this team could be good. And then they went out there and they were like, yeah, we can be good. The offense has a lot to work on, in my opinion. But it was there for both of them. And the defense and the special teams were like, all right.
I don't think there's just so many takeaways from victory. I love it. I don't think I've ever seen a better team just pack it in against the Browns and say, you know what, honestly, 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter, we're going home. We're going, because we're sitting in our seats, right? And I'm like, okay, I'm still a slight bit nervous because I'm like, all right, yeah, I know it's the Bengals. Well,
because we were here for the Jets game.
Yeah, yes. And the Bengals ran the ball twice. And I'm like, you are down 21 points. There are 6 minutes to go. What are you doing?
Bengals had 67% of their drives as 3 and outs. Wow. What a stat from Donnie coming down from the top rope.
And Andy looked at me. He's like, look who they have in a quarterback. And I was like, oh, right, because they took Joe Burrow out of the game, and then it was like just like it's just weird. It's weird stuff. I love it.
It just felt weird. Yeah, I mean, it was a great win, but it just felt weird. It was such a weird game.
Wow.
And it was like no adjustments from their offense or anything. They were just like, whatever. You know what I mean? Like it felt like they just.
You know what? If the Bengals want to do their slow start thing, I am more than happy for them to start slowly against the Browns.
Would you trade DTR for a 2 or a 3? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I love Dorian, but you picked him in the 5th round. That's an insane.
It's like don't get me wrong. Okay, I really would love the idea of him being there in case there was an injury, but like you give me a 2 or a 3 for something that you used a 5 on 3 months ago. Yeah.
Like Dorian looked very much the part in preseason, but he hasn't. Like the preseason is different than the regular season, and you haven't seen, like, you're trading a known 5th round commodity for a unknown second. Like the difference in those picks, like is insane. Like the hit rate, and well, I love Dorian though. I would be really sad, but I don't think they'll do. I don't think that they would.
You guys enjoy watching Nick go through every emotion on the emotions chart when talking about Dorian Thompson-Robinson. He was like, well, we got up here high, low.
I love it. Okay. All right. So I know
you talk about the offense
just a little bit. All right. Number 1, my favorite part of the offense, Nick Chubb, 18 carries, 5.9 yards a carry. And I want to say, and the main reason I want to talk about the offense is I want to give some credit to Stefanski. Stefanski has been like this lightning rod.
He's in his bag, man. He called a really good game.
And the greatest part about that is we both know that they did not. It was supposed to be sunny, right? All the suburbs around Cleveland were sunny.
Except for the stadium.
They're like, it was sunshine and we couldn't believe it was raining down at the field. There was literally just this cloud that stayed above the stadium the whole game.
We were in the Muni at 5 a.m. and it didn't rain all day.
Nothing.
Not until we got in the stadium.
And it's just, it's amazing. But so my point is, the Browns came in with a very different game plan than the one that they used when they just went to, because Jerome Ford had a bunch of carries too. I didn't actually realize that until I watched the game back.
Yeah, well, he also had a lot of those carries in the fourth quarter when the game was over.
That's true.
Because that really skewed, because he had like 6 or 7 runs for like 6 yards because for obvious reasons, that really hurt his stat line.
Yeah. But my point is, Kevin Stefanski adapted his game plan to, he saw his quarterback was struggling. He saw the weather conditions. He knew he could go to Chubb. He knew they could pound the rock. They moved the ball with Chubb. And then I felt like Deshaun got more comfortable. That throw to Donovan Peoples-Jones, I don't even know if it was 2 inches, probably not even above the defender's hand. and it just gets to like there were a couple of throws that were, I mean, there were definitely more throws that you're like,
listen, like they literally only played Marquise Goodwin 10 snaps, and he should have had 2 touchdowns.
Easy.
Better passes. So like when you're talking about role players like that, like we spoke, I know, like I gushed over having him back 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were kind of like, what are they actually going to do? He's going to go run 10 go routes. And if you can hit on 2 a game, which you're not going to hit on 2 a game, not consistently, but if you could hit on 1 or 2 every game or 2, it's like, just that threat, you do that, like say in the first half of the season, you do that like 6 times and he gets 6 touchdowns out of it, which they're not always going to be touchdowns. Like both of them, the second one definitely should have been a touchdown. The first one, he had to leap up for it. So it might not have been, but like, it was like they had 20% of the plays he played. You saw the exact reason they paid him that money. And the reason why I was so ecstatic when they got him. Got him back from the blood clot situation.
I just a little more Kevin Stefanski gushing. That I think it was the first deep shot to Marquise. That trick play where they moved Deshaun over, they direct snapped it to Chubb,
they like hand it back to him.
It didn't work, so Stefanski won't get the credit for that. That was a beautifully designed play.
And I love that Scott Van Pelt had that touchdown call put in on Saturday. So that run when that play where Watson, canned the first play and went to the run for the 15-yard touchdown, like Stefanski talked about, that was an Alex Van Pelt special from Saturday.
Yeah.
He had come up with it. He was like, hey, if we get this look, we should audible to this play, and I think we'll get a touchdown in the red zone. And they put that in on Saturday, and they prepped it a little bit pregame on Sunday, and they were like, okay, not really any reps. Because you couldn't go out there and do it in pregames and everybody be like, wait, what was that play? That everybody's watching at that point. But they get through there and they're like, yeah, we think this is going to work. And then they call it, and Watson sees the look, sees the way the defense is lined up. You hear him yell that can. So he switches to the run, and it's a touchdown. And it's just like they were in their bag. And if Watson and the weather had been better, because there were some issues with Watson too, it wasn't just the weather.
Sure.
But the weather obviously didn't help. But if he's a little bit better and the rain was a little bit better, they could have dropped 40 points.
And
they had 2 turnovers in Bengals territory.
Incredible. On top of the fact that you saw, so I think the most frustrating thing about those Deshaun Watson passes that weren't completed, and let me just say about Deshaun, I know that the passing wasn't beautiful. You saw a couple of flashes, but you also saw a guy like let's just say Baker Mayfield has Deshaun Watson's passing day as a Browns quarterback. The Browns. That game's a lot closer because Baker Mayfield does not create those first downs with his legs. So
45 yards. He rushed for 45 yards.
9 yards a carry, including the touchdown. You saw even when Deshaun didn't rush, he's still eluding rushers. Like Joe Burrow is not getting away from Myles Garrett. Deshaun Watson has the athleticism to get away from, and especially because the tackle situation a little dicey now. So Deshaun's athleticism is adding even when he's not at his best passing. Deshaun is still able to help contribute to his team. And that's why I'm a little less critical on him than I think some other people have been. But I understand the passing must improve. It must improve. There's no sugarcoating that. But I just want to say about those passes that did fall at the feet of receivers. One thing that was clear and obvious to me is there were open receivers all over. So many opportunities. Like I have been a long time believer in Kevin Stefanski's offense, and I think yesterday was a ringing endorsement of the fact that he has the pulse of this and has adapted to the skills because guys are open all over. That was I did you notice that too, Jacob?
Yeah, man. Especially when you look at some of the all 22, like okay. It was there. Obviously, you can't see the whole thing based on the TV view, and you definitely can't see the whole thing unless you're really high up in the stadium when you're sure. there. But I did a rewatch on Monday and then watched some all 22 today. And I was like, oh yeah, like if the quarterback play is better, and that is a combination of the quarterback and the weather, if the quarterback play is better, like I said, I mean, they lost the turnover battle by 2.
Mm-hmm.
They lost a turnover battle by 2 and won by 3 touchdowns. So
over a Super Bowl contender.
And now like everybody's like, we play for Super Bowls and you play for beating the Bengals. We're not the same. Whatever.
You know what? Let me say, 1 of 17 games is a big deal to win. I don't care who your opponent is. It's amazing the discussion that goes on because I witnessed all those Steelers teams beat up on all those terrible Browns teams. And no one was like, well, are the Steelers really that good? Does that really matter? And like,
it was the Browns. Cleveland
asterisk
is Cleveland
thing that like some of these announcers are doing, which that doesn't make any sense to me. But I was talking to a couple, so the Bengals fans are very tired of the Browns rubbing victory in their face. But
I'm not. Keep doing it.
Yes. But I just want to like, I don't think that maybe it just hasn't sunk into them that like they're good or not, because I'm like, you guys don't understand. You've won the division the last 2 years. You've been in the AFC Championship game and the Super Bowl in the last 2 years. So beating a team that has all those accomplishments is a big deal. We should be making a big deal of it. They are as quality of an opponent as you are going to face in the AFC all year. Whenever you beat that team and when you make them quit with 6 minutes left, that matters. That's significant. I don't care. I don't care if it's week 1. I don't care about the weather. That is a big win. That's a big win, and I'm going to keep treating it like a big win.
You know what else is a big win?
What?
When you go over and check out our friends at Homage Apparel. Yeah.
I love Homage Apparel.
I love Homage Apparel. I'm going to sleep in this Homage Apparel shirt, and it's going to just cradle me away into sweet harmony.
I got to say, you like Brownie on the field a lot better now that the Browns are winning.
I always like Brownie on the field, but
I did too. But I'm just saying, people were talking about it. I said today, Myles Garrett introduced Burrow to Brownie.
Yeah. How crazy was that Jets game last night? It was crazy. Did you realize that they were simulcasting 2 Monday night games this week?
No, but I saw get Joe.
Yeah, we get Joe and Troy. Yeah, we get the main crew. But like, I didn't know that until like yesterday. Like, obviously I knew the Browns were playing on Monday night, but I didn't know there was like this simulcast, and I'm like, well, this is a little bit weird.
Oh, what's up, Illegal Ham to the Face? Shout out to them. Do great podcasts. Go all around, having all kinds of great food, content, the whole lot. Love you guys. Love your show.
Yes, you guys are amazing. Sam Howell and Jordan Love in top 15. I don't hate Sam Howell like a lot of people. I think Sam Howell's fine. And I wanted Jordan. You remember that? I was like, let's trade for Jordan Love. That was before they got. That was the same year they got Deshaun Watson.
I remember that.
And it was a couple of years last.
Jordan Love had a nice debut. He really did.
He did, man. Like, good for him. I swear to God, if they walk into another Hall of Fame quarterback 3 in a row, I swear my buddy is a Packers fan. I'm like, you guys suck. You have no idea.
No idea. Which, as a segue, there might be another fan base that might be getting an idea of quarterback struggles here. But I just want to lead with this. Favorite stat. The Browns have the chance to be 2-0 for the first time since 1993.
I was 2 years old.
1993. You never really think about the fact that it has been that long. Like, imagine just being 2-0. 2 games in a row to start the year. 1993. Insane. I am here for every one of these terrible ass Browns records to be torn down. I hate them all.
I thought you were going to call the Steelers terrible ass. So I was not really sure where that was going.
No, so you're going into Pittsburgh on Monday night against the Pittsburgh team that just got slapped by San Francisco 49ers.
And is without Cam Hayward and Deontay Johnson.
But there's such weird perception that George Pickens is the alpha receiver in Pittsburgh. That is not true.
Did you see the crap George Pickens? Listen. The Steelers
are
They're us. Did you see what George Pickens was liking about Kenny Pickett?
The body language is not exactly Browns defense level.
We literally saw this movie 2 years ago. I know exactly how it ends.
It's so
You remember OBJ? That's exactly what happened.
And they are just so unprepared. Like I'll fully admit I'm jealous of the longevity of winning that they've had. They have no idea how spoiled they are and how low the floor can go. And I'm here for them to find it. I really am.
I'm here to find it.
So Monday night, Pittsburgh, they're without Cam Hayward and Deontay Johnson. We are without Jack Conklin. What do you feel? What are your initial thoughts on Browns at Pittsburgh Monday night?
So a little bit of weakness on that offensive line right now, not totally healthy from everything that I've read. I will later this week, probably tomorrow, I will watch the Steelers-Niners game. I've seen the highlights of it, and I've looked at the stats and the data and the grades and all that good stuff from it, but I have not watched it yet. So I'll have a better idea for our live stream on Monday at 7 when I talk about it. Yes. I can't wait. But I'll have a better idea for our pregame show and that sort of thing Monday at 7 here live on the YouTube. I'll have a little bit better idea then, but I just feel like you can do the same thing to Pickett that you did to Burrow. I really think there's kind of some weakness there. There's some youth, there's some injury, and I mean, we just saw some shiny new toys doing some really awesome things, and I don't see why they can't do it again. No Cam Hayward now, but don't get me wrong, I love
Alex Highsmith.
Yeah, Keanu Benton. I love Keanu Benton, that defensive tackle, and I keep doing that, man. I don't know why I keep totally zoning out on people's names tonight. It's not been my best work, but Cam Hayward is a Hall of Famer to me, man. Like a D tackle, and you know, when the Browns were running the ball really, really well in recent years, they would go face Cam Hayward and not run the ball well. That is a big play, and if you don't have Deontay Johnson and his quickness off the line of scrimmage, that really limits some of those quick play games, quick play plays. There we go.
Yep.
That the Bengals utilize to neutralize some of that rush. There's some people that just don't want to get too excited because I think they're scared of the curse of the Browns versus the Steelers, and I get it. But there is no reason that MC puts his prediction here 31-10. There's no reason to think they can't do that. I'm serious, and I'm trying very hard to not be a homer, and I need to watch their game because I haven't physically watched it. But I think they should win by 10 points.
Well, I'll tell you this, MC. We officially start Steelers Violence Week tomorrow. Gave them a couple days. Let the victory breathe. Talked a little victory on Bagels. Tomorrow, first thing in the morning. I don't know how many days it's been since Pittsburgh's won a playoff game, but I'm sure going to find out and tell you.
I don't know right now, but if you give me like 3 hours and a quick Google.
January 17th, 2017. Totally don't know that from Googling it for like the last 2 years and posting it.
That's my birthday. It is January. But it is. My birthday's on January 17th. You know, Betty White, her birthday was January 17th.
Yeah. My dad's birthday is January 17th.
Yeah. We say this. This same thing happens every year. Every year you say, "Hey, my dad's born in January." So was Jim Carrey.
Wow. Well, so about Pittsburgh though.
Yeah.
They just got completely gashed on the ground by Christian McCaffrey, and I have zero reason to think that Nick Chubb can't replicate that. I would expect. Now, Nick Chubb's had some struggles against them recently. Especially missing Cam Hayward. And the fact that Pittsburgh just got gashed, and the whole Matt Canada stuff is starting all over again, right? Because they kind of I think that there were a lot of calls to fire him after last year, and Pittsburgh doesn't fire anybody, so they didn't. And now here we are, 1 week into the season. You've got like you said, Pickens liking this stuff on social media and people calling the fire Matt Canada and talking all about Kenny Pickett throwing this ball behind Deontay Johnson. That could have been an easy touchdown. There's a lot of, I think over the course of time, I've really started to value just mentality, culture, body language, the whole thing. Pittsburgh's is not very good right now. Cleveland's, I mean, you've got Deshaun strumming the guitar. You've got Myles Garrett. I don't know how it just ends up that the Browns have like these insanely epic pictures,
man,
all the time. It's amazing. I'm just saying, like, if there was a time for Pittsburgh to lose on Monday night, because they don't do that very often. They have some insane Monday night home record, which I know doesn't have any bearing on this one. But my point is, if there was a time for that record to end, it's this one. The Browns have the opportunity to make such an incredible statement. Can you imagine just for a second? They're 2-0 for the first time since 1993. They're 2-0 in the division. They're first place in the AFC North, coming home for 2 games against the Titans team that Ryan Tannehill looks like he can't throw the ball to the broadside of a barn, and a Ravens team that also has been hit really heavily with injuries. You hate to see that happen, but that's reality. They're still going to play, and really did not put away the Texans until the second half.
Yeah. Dude, Lamar screwed me in fantasy, man. Like, I felt so grass. Like,
I have Mark Andrews. He didn't play either.
Yeah, and Isaiah. I told you to play Isaiah Likely and
over Hayden Hurst, who was the number 1 scoring tight end of the week.
You know what?
Woof. That's okay. But my point is, this is a massive opportunity. Nothing should say it better than the 1993 stat. That's insane to me. Go get it.
Go get it.
Go get it.
Go get it. No reason you can't.
Any final thoughts, my friend?
Never use a porta potty in the Muni lot after the game. It's the grossest thing you will ever encounter in your entire life. Listen to me. I lived in a country for 9 months that literally burn their own poop. And that was the grossest thing that has ever happened to me. But buddy, I had to go.
Jacob comes out and he, for whatever reason, decides that in graphic detail, he will describe to me this situation.
Andy walked away. He was like, I can't hear this.
Oh, man. Don't do that. Don't. You know what? It's fun in the Muni lot. Maybe not there, man.
Not there. Not the porta johns in the front. The ones that everybody
use the bathroom in the stadium before you go.
I don't know how it got that high.
Anyway.
But it was. I think we got to end this thing. I think we're off the rails here.
All right. Victory does some crazy things to us, man. Like, this is amazing. Anyway. Thank you for the 2,000 subscribers. We will be doing our jersey giveaway. I think we're going to give it about a week span. So maybe announce it tomorrow, something like that, and then give it a week and let everybody enter that kind of thing. Anyway, this has been one of the most fun episodes, 119 of the Barking Brown Show on a Victory Tuesday. And Nick, he's Jacob. We're coming back for victory in Pittsburgh. Go Browns.
Fuck Pittsburgh.